Hey, and welcome to a new series here on Arguing Art. We're going to be talking about money and art, and this series is entitled Money, Money, Money.
Money! I'm Adam Sterner, and this is Micah Luke. And today, in our Money, Money, Money series, we are talking about the difference between...
So ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It's fun, though. The difference between craft and art.
Yes, and that can be a very difficult and often hotly debated topic. A lot of people feel pretty strongly one way or the other. Not when you say art versus craft, because most people say craft is not art, but then when you start defining what craft is and what art is, that's when people get touchy. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, they pull out their swords that they happen to delicately fashion with a hammer.
That is an art.
Mm-hmm. And they go to battle for it.
That, literally. Was that a pun? Did you mean to pun that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Well done. That was pretty punny. Anyway, all right, so the argument for craft as art is that, crafts like blacksmithing or, furniture making, you could argue cooking.
Blowing a glass vase.
Yep. I mean, sort of what you would think of maybe when you think artisan.
Mm-hmm.
Those are definitely creative processes that they have to go through. They make conscious decisions saying it's going to look like this, it's going to look like that. We're going to have this part. There are artistic qualities to the pieces that they create.
Often incredibly technically sound.
Yes, yeah, especially with the really good people. The technical abilities that they have can be amazing, and that's why it must be an art, because it's creative. It has artistic qualities to it, and it's technically difficult. A lot of times people seem to put that in there with...
Yeah, that's in a lot of cases people seem to be drawn to things that are more technically proficient than others.
Well, and we should mention the fact too that technical proficiency, this was what made me think of it, this can also relate to certain types of painting and drawing, landscapes, or I should say certain landscapes or certain like wildlife paintings can be very, very technically sound. But is it art? Or is it a craft? I mean, there is a craft to art as well.
Mm-hmm. So the second part of this, when you bring up the art versus craft debate, is what is the difference?
Right.
What's this little piece that might necessitate that the landscape painting is a craft, very well made, versus a work of art? And the difference that's often argued is the expression of emotion. So you could have that artisan making something just gorgeous, but if it's made just for making the sword, making the basket, making the vase, well, in a lot of cases, that's considered just to be the craft. Now, if the artist were to be delicately inserting an expression of emotion for themselves, or creating elements that would cause someone else to feel experience or emotions, then they would often be called an artist.
And this is, it's a good thing we brought up the landscape paintings, because this is also, again, where we get in kind of a touchy area. This is not to say that all furniture making is either art or not art. It's not to say that all blacksmithing is either art or not art. Mm-hmm. It's more on an individual basis. Much like in painting, you can have something that's technically sound in a good painting, but that doesn't necessarily make it art. That's the whole debate here.
Yeah, that's hitting it exactly on the head, is that missing element.
Mm. Is there a missing element? Maybe there's not a missing element. Maybe the fact that it has artistic qualities, there's a certain amount of beauty to it. Maybe the fact that it is a creative process. You have to make aesthetic decisions in order to create these pieces. Maybe that's enough to call it art. Maybe because it doesn't express emotion, you can't call it art.
Yeah, that seems to be the general debate.
Yep.
Is if that expression is necessary, if that creates the distinction between a really nice technical piece being either a work of craft or a work of art.
See, and this is a scary one to talk about too for me because I feel very strongly on one side. But I don't want to bias anything here. I will in the comments section, so come and talk to me in the comments section. But it is such a touchy issue for a lot of people. What you're really doing is you're saying to an artist or someone who sees himself as an artist, all right, man, you're not an artist. You're a craftsman.
Sure.
And there seems to be just a lower level of respect for craftsmen than artists.
Well, and that actually brings up something really interesting that we don't have time to discuss in this episode.
Right.
So comment section is great for this. But does that person's view of themselves, like their self, does that change it?
Yeah.
If that person is making the furniture or the landscape painting, feeling as an artist, viewing what they're making as art, does that make it art? Or if they were doing it thinking that they're just crafting something, does that make them a craftsman?
What do you think? Let us know. If you're watching us on YouTube, Vimeo, or any of the other video servers, Blip TV or what have you, come over to arguingart.com. You can certainly comment and rate here. We'd love and really appreciate that. But come over to the website. That's where the meat of the conversation is taking place, and that's where we can get back to you really quickly and really easily. So check us out, arguingart.com. Anything else to add?
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.